There's a specific region in your brain, known as the amygdala, that plays a huge role in how you perceive trust. It works faster than you can think, scanning every situation for signs of danger, processing your interactions, and making quick decisions about how much you can trust the people around you. But here's the thing, the amygdala doesn't always get it right, and a lot of the habits you think are helping you protect yourself might actually be making you harder to trust without you even realizing it. Let me explain why. In this video, we'll dive into the 7 hidden habits that could be sabotaging your trustworthiness, and most importantly, how you can fix them. Stick around for number 3, because it's something that seems so small, yet has a bigger impact on trust than you might think. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll have a new understanding of why these habits are creeping into your relationships. First off, let's talk about something that might be hard to hear. You've probably been taught that trust is a matter of keeping promises or being upfront about your feelings, but trust goes much deeper than that. It's about how others feel when they're around you, and when you have certain habits, they might be feeling a sense of distance, uncertainty, or even confusion about where you stand. And that's not about weakness or failure. It's about not understanding how these small things add up. Dr. Judson Brewer from Brown University found that 92... Imagine this. It's late at night, and you're lying in bed, your mind racing. You just had a conversation with a friend, but now you're replaying it over and over, wondering if you said something wrong or if you left something unsaid. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, that you're just overthinking. But deep down, you can't shake the feeling that your behavior has caused a rift, even if no one else notices. Does that sound familiar? You're not alone in this. We're all guilty of it at times. And these habits you've picked up along the way might be why you're struggling with trust, even in your closest relationships. 1. The habit of over-apologizing. Over-apologizing. It might seem harmless at first, but it can be one of the most damaging habits when it comes to trust. You might think you're smoothing things over, but in reality, it's signaling a lack of confidence in your actions or decisions. Every time you say, "I'm sorry" for something minor, you unintentionally send a message that you don't trust your own judgment. This becomes a problem when the people around you start to question whether they can trust you too. From a psychological standpoint, this is linked to a lack of self-assurance. You're often second-guessing yourself, and every apology serves as a form of self-doubt. You might feel it's a way of maintaining harmony, but over-apologizing actually breaks trust because it makes you seem uncertain. In fact, a study by Dr. Tara J. Mitchell at the University of Colorado found that people who over-apologize are often perceived as less competent and less dependable in relationships. But here's the thing, you're not weak for over-apologizing. You're human. And once you realize that this habit is rooted in a desire to avoid conflict or discomfort, you can start shifting it. The key is to stop apologizing for things that don't need an apology. Instead, validate your feelings and actions with confidence. People will trust you more when they see that you can stand by your decisions without constantly second-guessing yourself. 2. The habit of avoiding vulnerability. Vulnerability. It's that thing you're afraid to show. You've been taught to keep your emotions in check, to protect yourself from being hurt. But here's the kicker. When you avoid vulnerability, you're inadvertently pushing people away. Vulnerability is the foundation of trust. Without it, you leave others wondering if they can truly rely on you. Let's talk about why vulnerability is so crucial to trust. Research shows that the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, occurs when we open up to someone. This chemical reaction strengthens emotional connections, making us feel safer and more trusting. But when you avoid showing your true self, you're cutting off this oxytocin response, leaving others unsure about your emotional availability. I know it's scary. It feels like showing weakness, but in reality, showing vulnerability is one of the most powerful things you can do. Trust isn't built by being perfect, it's built by being real. And when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you give others the permission to do the same. That's when true connection happens. So stop hiding behind a wall of emotional armor. It's okay to show that you're human. People will trust you more for it. 3. The habit of overthinking everything. This one's a killer. Overthinking might seem like an innocent habit, but it actually creates a ton of emotional chaos that makes others question your trustworthiness. Think about it. Every time you overthink a conversation, a situation, or a decision, you're essentially locking yourself in a mental prison, and that mental loop can lead to indecisiveness, inconsistency, and frustration. Overthinking is directly tied to anxiety. When your brain is overloaded with worry, it's hard to make clear decisions, and that shows in your interactions with others. A study by Dr. Rachel J. Levy at Harvard Medical School found that overthinking actually activates the brain's stress response system, specifically the cortisol pathways. This leads to emotional exhaustion, which over time creates distance in relationships. The solution? Start practicing mindfulness and grounding techniques. When you notice yourself starting to spiral, focus on your breath and remind yourself that it's okay to make decisions without overanalyzing every detail. You're not broken for overthinking. It's a habit that can be changed with intention. 4. The habit of ghosting people. Ghosting is a common behavior, and it's something many of us do without thinking. Maybe you felt overwhelmed, or maybe you just didn't know how to handle a difficult situation. Either way, when you ghost someone, disappearing without explanation, it creates an emotional void, and that void is filled with uncertainty, which destroys trust. Psychologically speaking, ghosting is often a defense mechanism. It's easier to cut someone off than to face the discomfort of having a hard conversation. But what ghosting really does is create an emotional barrier that others can't get past. People start to question your reliability and commitment, and that's what makes them pull back from you. It's normal to avoid confrontation, but ghosting is a silent trust killer. Instead of disappearing, practice the art of clear communication. Let people know where you stand. It's uncomfortable, but it's also the most respectful thing you can do for both yourself and the other person. Being honest, even when it's hard, is what builds trust in the long run. 5. The habit of being secretive. You might think keeping things to yourself is harmless. After all, everyone has their own private life, right? But secrecy can lead to a serious erosion of trust, especially when it's overdone. When you're constantly keeping things hidden from others, it creates a sense of distance and unpredictability. People start to wonder what you're hiding and why you won't share it with them. This is rooted in the brain's attachment system. We are wired to form close, transparent bonds with others. Secrecy disrupts that process. Dr. Lisa Feltman Barrett at Northeastern University found that when people withhold information, their brain's attachment circuits don't fully engage, leading to a lack of emotional connection. The solution here is simple: be open. You don't have to share everything, but withholding information for no reason creates distrust. Small doses of honesty go a long way, and the more you practice it, the more naturally it will come. 6. The habit of playing it too cool. You might think that keeping your emotions in check and staying cool is a sign of strength, but it's actually making it harder for others to trust you. When you don't show emotion, it's hard for people to read you, and when they can't read you, they start to question if they really know you at all. This behavior often comes from a place of fear. You might feel like showing emotions is a vulnerability you can't afford. But here's the reality: trust thrives on emotional openness. Dr. John Gottman, a leading psychologist at the University of Washington, found that emotional intimacy is the key predictor of relationship success. When you hold back emotionally, you're cutting off that intimacy. It's time to stop playing it cool all the time. It's okay to let your guard down. People will trust you more when they can see the real you, and when you show up authentically, you create deeper connections with others. 7. The habit of being inconsistent. Inconsistency is the silent trust killer. It might seem small, a broken promise here, a change of plans there, but it adds up over time. And when you're inconsistent in your actions, people start to doubt your reliability. Trust is built on predictability. If your words don't match your actions, it triggers uncertainty. Your brain is wired to crave consistency. The more consistent you are, the more your relationships will feel grounded. A study by Dr. David McClund at Harvard University showed that when people act inconsistently, their brain's reward system doesn't engage, leading to a lack of trust. To fix this, focus on small but consistent actions. Follow through on your promises. Be reliable in the little things. When you're consistent, trust starts to build naturally. Here's the bottom line: you're not broken. You're not untrustworthy. These habits are simply unconscious patterns that you can change. By understanding the science behind them and practicing small shifts, you can start building deeper, more trusting relationships. So take a moment to reflect on what habits might be silently eroding your trust and start making the changes that will set you free.